I like to profile authors from time to time, and every once in a while we get to meet someone who actually writes and lives here amongst us. Today's guest is Kieran Kramer, who writes romance novels. I have her latest here, which is Loving Lady Marcia. But before we get to the book itself, I want to just kind of find out more about you. Locally raised and born and bred?
Yes.
And not...
Okay, I wasn't born here, but my family got here back in the early 70s when my dad was a colonel in the Air Force and flew planes out of Charleston.
Went to high school?
I went to grade school here and high school. I went to Bishop England. I graduated from the College of Charleston.
Well, you're much of a local as I am then. I mean, if you've got all that in your background.
Yes, and I grew up on the banks of Bohicket Creek out in Johns Island.
You know all about
the
Pluff Mud.
I've lived in the Pluff Mud, and I did my share of shrimping and crabbing.
Yes, well, that's great.
Sailing.
You live in Somerville now.
Yes, I do.
An English teacher?
Well, I was certified at the College of Charleston to teach English by my own mother, who certified all the high school teachers in the area at the time. And then I wound up joining the CIA instead of going right into teaching.
I wanted to get to that because when you see that on the resume, it's like CIA, English teacher at Stall High School, living in Somerville. I said, wait a minute, hang on a second. CIA?
Yes. I was sitting in the College of Charleston library, and I don't know what exactly I was doing. I was reading the Atlanta Journal just for fun, and I saw an ad, a big, beautiful picture of the CIA insignia, and it said, "Do you want to live a life of adventure, and do you have the potential to learn a foreign language?" And I said yes to both of those. So I wrote them and wound up being someone they recruited from this area. And after they did recruit me, they did start coming down to the College of Charleston and checking
looking for
out
future.
Yes, exactly. So I did that for a couple years, and it was incredible.
Right.
I wish I could write about it, but I did sign a non-disclosure agreement when I joined. So I'd love to write a fictionalized tale of my time there. And who knows, maybe someday I will, but if I do, I will submit it to them for approval. Exactly. But I wound
that's
up,
interesting. What language did you eventually learn? That
Spanish. I already knew Spanish from Sister Amelia at Bishop England, who taught it so well, and at the College of Charleston. But that's what I did wind up going in with.
Now you write romance novels.
Yes, I do.
Are you just one of those hopeless romantics that loves happy ever after?
I'm definitely a Pollyanna type. I love happy endings. I'm a real optimist. I grew up in a family that was totally into believing you can do whatever you set your mind to doing. And my parents' motto was life rewards action. Well, I always loved reading. That was my favorite pleasure growing up. And as an English teacher, I really liked Jane Austen, who wrote Pride and Prejudice. I loved Charles Dickens, who wrote later. I loved Mark Twain. I loved any author that really focused on characters. And part of me decided that because I believe so strongly in the power of love, and I also love really fun characters, I'm going to meld that into writing books for people who enjoy romance and also like eccentric characters. And that's Regency England, which is where I set my books post-Waterloo, about 1820. And the characters are all kind of over the top, many of them.
And from the House of Brady, which is your concocted...
yes, and that's kind of a crazy thing. I woke up one night in the middle of the night and said, I want to take Marcia Brady back to
I wondered about that, because you call it the House of Brady, and then it involves a blended family with 3 boys and 3 girls.
Exactly.
And then the book is called Loving Lady Marcia. I said, wait, there's got to be a Marcia Brady.
There is, and I pay very light homage. It's not a spoof.
I see.
It's really an organic Regency tale. For people who love the genre, they will find everything they want here when it comes to a romance set in London in 1820. But she happens to be named Marcia, and she comes from that blended family. And I kind of pay light homage to the series just by tipping my hat to it in very subtle ways. If you've never seen the Brady Bunch, you won't miss a thing, and you'll still enjoy the book. But if you have seen the Brady Bunch, you'll enjoy the little winks I make to the series.
Do you feel you have to ever apologize for writing in this genre? I think sometimes people look at romance writers and say, oh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, do you sense,
All the time.
okay.
We're called hacks, and people think it doesn't take much to write a romance novel. It actually takes a great deal of effort and talent to be able to write these books, and I'm proud of them. I'm especially proud of them because I do have a very optimistic worldview, and my books reflect that.
Yes.
Now, if I had included a romance where one of the people died, like Nicholas Sparks, I'd suddenly become a literary author who was much appreciated because death was there, or some kind of something pessimistic, happens. But that's just not who I am, and I'm proud to be one of these people who's just pretty darn simple. And I like my stories to have happy endings. I'm an entertainer. I don't make any pretense, to be a big literary icon like Pat Conroy.
Right.
I entertain, I give my readers a few hours of stress relief, and I give them another knot to tie onto their rope when they feel no hope.
You're not trying to save the world, you're just trying to find some, I don't want to say mindless entertainment, but something that just occupies the mind for a short period of time.
And there's a lot of wit in there too.
Okay.
Yeah, to make people laugh.
Well, it's just a pleasure to meet you. Your latest, Loving Lady Marcia. All the best. USA Today, New York Times bestseller.
I wish I were a New York Times bestseller. No, but
well, they
USA
gave you a nice comment in their review section, and I hope you make it to that.
Thank you. That's one of my big goals.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Warren.
Nice
Take
to meet
care.
you. All right. Our best to Kieran Kramer for being with us. And again, for more about her books, Kieran Kramer, including book excerpts, purchasing information, or book tour stops, visit her website. It's Kieran, that's spelled K-I-E-R-A-N, KieranKramerBooks.com.